Greetings, magnificent souls, to the Attract Health, Build Wealth podcast, where we have open and honest discussions about ourselves. This is a place where we break down, break away, and break through codependency, allowing ourselves to attract health, build wealth, and live a peaceful life. We are tired of being sick and tired. We are tired, but we are not giving up. We know that there is something magnificent inside of us. Because we are fighting daily, hourly, and by the minute, fighting ourselves, our kids, our spouses, we have to do things differently. We have to break the cycle. We don't have a million chances. We have to be happy now. We have to find a way. So how do we do that? How is that possible? If you look around at what society is telling you, they'll tell you that what we're doing is impossible, yet it's happening every single day. It's happening through the practice and the love that we call awakening the magnificent soul. We are all magnificent souls, and these are our stories of healing. Today in episode 23, a listener by the name of Lily wrote into the Epiphany Vault. So I wanted to share with you all what she wrote, as she did give me her permission to share. But before we get into the discussion, don't forget to let me know your thoughts about this episode, any feedback you have, or anything you'd like me to cover on future podcasts at epiphanyvault.com. Remember, you can share anonymously. It is a safe place, and I would welcome the discussion. So just a little disclaimer before we get started that this is my personal opinion and experience only. Of course, I would recommend to consult a medical or mental professional when you feel that you are able and when you see fit. So here's what Lily wrote. I'm a recovering drug addict. I have upwards of 3 years clean and find myself down to the bare bones of the underlying issues that fueled my addiction in the first place. In the absence of a mood-altering substance in my body, I find that my primary addiction was always people, or codependency, if you will. I'm reaching out for anything that can help me create a healthy relationship with myself, and your podcast is like a balm for my deep dissatisfaction with who I am. My boyfriend and I, he's a recovering person also, just broke up because of our mutual codependency was so miserable that we couldn't bear it any longer. We hit on so many cylinders, and it's hard to accept that both of us have individual journeys to create grounds for building a relationship if we ever want to have a meaningful one. For my part, I still persist in hoping that we can circle back around to each other after we've experienced growth in the way I know we want to. But maybe that will change. Who knows? I can't control outcomes. I can't manipulate situations to create the emotional reaction I need to feel valuable or fulfilled. This is by far the hardest and most important thing I've ever done. Leaving a person that I love because I know I must be alone right now, because I'm creating a really toxic space for myself, and this other human is gut-wrenching. I'm in the acute stages of grief from that separation right now. Hearing the definition of codependency is revolutionary for me. I am acquainted with it as an addict, but hearing it outlined in such a way makes me turn it inward and really take a look at myself and take responsibility at this point. I enabled my significant other when he refused to display any emotional maturity, enabled his attention-seeking behaviors, let him call the shots, basically. We planned activities around what he could post on Facebook to garner attention. We avoided conversation with any real depth, but I allowed that. I nurtured that within our relationship. I was his protective covering almost, and within that relationship, I lost so much. I haven't been single since I was 16 years old, not truly. There was always some member of the opposite sex around to validate me. Part of me doesn't understand why I have this deep sense of self-loathing. I feel on the surface really unique and special. I'm a now single working mother of 4. I am the provider, I'm good at sports, and good at most everything I try. I'm the jack of all trades. I sometimes wonder if that's what I place my value in. Is that really me? I can sing and sew and fix a car. I'm super handy in general. I'm charismatic and kind, and I now work with recovering people like myself in a behavioral health setting. I can do a man's work. I can do a woman's work. I'm a great motivator to others, and I'm one of those people that when someone meets me, they instantly know that I'm a good ear. And because of that, sometimes almost perfect strangers spill their guts to me. In my most intimate friendships and my romantic relationship, I'm at a loss. That's the best way I know how to put it. I just can't seem to fully invest in others because deep down, I don't really know what makes me tick or how to love and nurture myself. It's rare that I've ever forced myself to be so introspective. I miss my significant other. The high-achieving competitor part of my mind reaches out for answers sometimes, just so I can make sure that he doesn't have a breakthrough wherever he is, while I'm left here still unhappy and searching for answers. I turn the focus to him a lot. I try to remind myself that I allowed him to use me as a pacifier for all manner of issues he needed to address. And at the end of it all, he couldn't respect me. I have no more control over what happens now than I did then. My usual MO would be to create a relationship out of thin air. I'm so good at it. I can convince everyone, even myself, that there is a future in a relationship like this. That is the reason I know that I must change or die, really. Spiritually die, at least. I cannot even bring myself to use that old pattern of coping and finding someone who validates me. There's a quote that I really love that Viktor Frankl said. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. I must change. I can't live like this anymore. I don't know what to do next. I try to explore the things I actually like, and learn about myself. I have a Narcotics Anonymous sponsor and work the 12 steps and go to meetings. I'm staying positive and keeping busy trying to make each day count toward growth and change for me and by extension for my children. I need some really practical advice at this point, some activities I can do. I'm going to listen to every episode of the podcast meanwhile. I sometimes feel like I need a workbook or hands-on things to do. Any kind of insight or direction would be appreciated. Lily, I just want to say I can't thank you enough for writing in. I know what courage it takes to be honest with yourself and oneself, but then also to share it with the listeners out there as well. And so many things hit home for me as I read and reread your message. I kept thinking, that's me. I'm that woman too. And I do want you to know that you're not alone in this journey. And I can feel and see the mountain that you have climbed in your recovery journey already, and then the new journey that you're embarking on to reclaim your life. First, let me say this. This door that you've opened up to introspection, to knowing that you need to get healthy or die, will never close. You've taken a huge step forward towards a better life for you. So I have to commend you on that first step. And as you probably know, your addiction was more than likely at the forefront of your life before you decided to come clean. It was likely masking all of those feelings that you have been repressing or that you're feeling right now. And from what I've seen, rarely do people have the courage to face all of those thoughts and feelings. So it's just amazing to me that you have reached this point. I know this because I have been there myself. And from my experience, the lens that I look through the world now is completely different than it was pre-awakening. And that doesn't mean that I don't make mistakes. That doesn't mean that I'm not attracted to the same type of relationships that have been so toxic for me in the past. But now that I have turned my awareness inwards, I'm learning to value myself before others. I'm learning to listen to the red flags that I had only, seen really in hindsight before. So I just want to encourage you, or to anyone listening, that although I don't know you personally, I know that you are doing the right thing by focusing on your health. And I can tell by the way you express yourself and by a lot of the work that you've been doing already, and I can feel you taking that healthier route. So just thank you so much for sharing. And this is also a great time to mention to Lily that I'm working on an online course as we speak to help with exactly this. And it's not quite ready yet. And let me know if you want to be notified when it is ready, or feel free to let me know, or any of our listeners out there at epiphanyvault.com. And I'll be happy to share that with you when I do have that available. And also at this point, I think it's important to just call out something that you expressed in your note to me, which is what I think comes down to just not really knowing yourself and who you are. At this point in your life, it's probably difficult to come to terms with the fact that the relationships, the activities, everything really that you've been pursuing throughout your life have all, in some respects, been superficial or detached from you. And the only reason I say that, I hope I'm not making an assumption, but that's the way that I feel. I know this because it's me. And to be completely open with you, it's still really hard for me to grasp. It's hard for me to not look back on my life kind of in bewilderment. And just like you said, Lily, like not even knowing who I was. So I understand how and why, you're attracted to people and doing and achieving things. I think it's because it's in an effort to fill a lost void inside yourself. For me, that was exactly the case. So for me, my goal now is to begin to establish the love for myself that I deserve, and that really I have been worth all along. But the problem is my conditioning, my past experiences, my family of origin, have all taught me that I'm not worth it. And you know, Lily, I know that we are worth it. That's why we're here on this podcast. That's why we're here, right now. And when you said that you just don't know what to do next, I would recommend that you work on reestablishing love for yourself. And this will take time. And for me, since I've been practicing this, I know that this is something that I will have to work on forever. And I'm okay with that. And let me just stop here, Lily, and say something really blunt. But please know that I am coming from a place of love and understanding. It is imperative that you are ready to claim that space for yourself. For me, after many, many years of trying and many, many years of disappointment, for me, I had to feel it in my bones and in my core. It was almost like a vibrational pull, the self-love that I felt and that I feel and that I'm feeling to do the work for me and by me. I just wanted to say that because through my journey, like I said, I thought I was ready many times, but really I wasn't. I was kind of just like a hype man trying to will myself out of misery and sorrow. But as I said, when your eyes are open to the boundless space of self-love, we are definitely headed toward peace. So you asked me for some practical advice, and I feel like I've been kind of on my soapbox. So I'd love to offer you some things that I do to foster and nurture that love for myself. If you haven't listened to episode 21 yet, I would definitely recommend revisiting that, as I outlined exactly what I do to keep up with my soul maintenance. And in that episode, I listed the 5 soul tools that I use to maintain my alignment. I would also consider starting immediately meditating and journaling. I find that the Headspace app is very helpful. It's called Headspace. It has a nice, gentle guidance for meditation, for different meditation themes. But in my view, that is one of the most powerful things that you can do and start right now. Meditation has taught me so many things. It's taught me how to be alone with myself without any distractions, how to calm my thoughts, how to be present focused, how to listen to my body, thoughts, inner feelings, and so many other things. So with meditation, be gentle with yourself. When it comes to meditation, it's never going to be perfect. But I bet you will notice a calmer you within 2 weeks. Also, if you could begin to open up the door to journaling by writing 100 words a day, this will become a major outlet for you as it did, I'm assuming, as it did for me, and as a respite for you as it did for me as well. Journaling was the one thing in my whole soul maintenance program that I thought I hated doing. And I had so many reservations about it just because I was so critical of myself. So just start. 100 words. I am writing, I am writing, I am writing, or thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you're like me, you'll find this practice illuminating and uplifting, as it will lead down a path to opening up crevices in your mind that you have long forgotten or hidden away. And don't be scared. It's a good thing. Trust me, it's a good thing. So just start. And lastly, kind of a bonus that I didn't mention on the previous episode 21 is a little something personal that I haven't really shared before. And specifically for you, Lily, I think this may be a good tool to use, which is the Codependence Anonymous online or phone meetings. And you can find them just by Googling. But I found that super helpful and convenient, obviously, because they're online or telephone based, but super impactful, especially if I'm having a bad day. So just like with your other meetings, and I know you're already familiar with 12-step meetings, that's why I think Coda may work for you too. You can choose to participate or not, just like your other meetings, but I have a good feeling that will be an amazing resource for you, as the topics are a little bit different than what you're used to. So that's all I have for you right now, Lily. Please update me, as I'm in full support of you and your journey, and use the Epiphany Vault as you need it. And to all of you out there, magnificent souls, much love to you. And until next time, living and loving.